Hey folks, Dave here, back at Studio B. Sunday night, I came this close to playing some football tonight, and I said, you know something? I think what I'm going to do is come on and just say hi to everybody, and just do a quick chat tonight. I was playing some drums tonight. I did. I posted a drum video. It was my first time going direct into the camera, and I thought I turned everything down to a point where it was nice and clean, but it was it was all distorted. So, needless to say, I posted it anyway, but it's a little distorted. So I'm a mess too. My dog was patting my dog. My shirt's all a mess here. But yeah, so I just catching up with everybody. Did some drums tonight. I'm still practicing. I hooked up with a really good drum website which allows you to do all kinds of things like post videos of yourself and get critiqued and talk to people and, just get some suggestions from other drummers, some new, some old. So it's been pretty fun. So I set it up to record that. And when I went and played it back, I was like, oh my gosh, it was distorted, but it was bad, but not horrible. So I still posted it. So we'll see how it goes. I tried to bring it into my computer and fiddle with the audio, and it just didn't work. Excuse me. But anyway, we were supposed to record a show today. Ron's had a tough week. If you followed Ron at all, it's been one thing after another over at the Jucket Casa de Jucket, if you will. So poor Ron's had a tough week, real tough week. So we were supposed to record Thursday, then Friday, then Saturday, then Sunday, and just one day after another. It was just another event for him. Saturday, I will say that I was kind of tired myself. It's just the end of the summer heat. We had a playoff hockey game, and I was exhausted. So I come home, and I was like, I want to crash, and then we'll record. And then I get up. I was like, I don't think I'm going to record today. I got no energy. He's like, yeah, me either. But anyway, so what's been going on over here with myself and the channel? Well, you notice I'm doing some more musical stuff while I have the time. I just got my fall schedule, so I'm going to be balls to the wall, so to speak, with my hockey broadcasts. That has nothing to do with the channel, really, but I'm just going to be real busy with that. I guess the other broadcaster they had moved, so I'm going to be doing probably most of the games for all three levels of the team up in New Hampshire, so that should be fun. As far as as gaming, what I've been playing, I'm really enjoying that pro strategy football on the computer. And ID says he watched the last drum video. Thanks. I gotta get better. I went right direct into the camera, and I need to. I think I was just too loud coming out, so I'm still playing with that. But it's been fun. The drums have been fun. They're very, very hard. It's trying to get everything going, legs and arms, and sometimes I miss them. Like I'll be looking over here and I'll go to hit this and I'll miss it. It's just, but then again, the electronic kit, they're this big instead of this big. So if I had an actual kit, the chance of me missing it would be pretty slim. But the electronic kits are so small that you just hit them. You don't hit them all the time, as Bernard stops by. But that Pro Strategy Football is great. I set that up to play tonight. I did. I was going to play some Pro Strategy Football, and I had it all set, ready to go. And I said, you know something? I said, I think I'm just going to come on and chat, because I just don't know if I have the energy tonight to give it a good, solid broadcast with the football, because the football takes about an hour or so. So I said, no, maybe I haven't done a chat in a while. I want to let everybody know while we haven't had a Digital to Dice all week. So I think we did one last week. I think we had Ed on. Was it last Saturday night? We had Ed on. It was a Saturday before, and we talked to Ed Klingenberger from Board Ball, and it was a fun little chat with him. And we were supposed to have one this week, and it happens. Sometimes it happens. If you look at our schedules in the summertime, it's just when it gets hot, especially his place gets real hot, and he's got that one light that just it makes it so hot, and then he's got the AC on, so it's an uncomfortable jacket up there at Casa de Jucket. So he doesn't always have, he's just burning up there. So sometimes in the summer we record a little bit less. But we'll be having a new show. This week we were already talking about like what day we're going to do, what we're going to talk about. And we're going to get ready for show 200. Yeah, I got to start planning show 200 of Digital to Dice, what we're going to do, and we're probably going to do a live show and have people on and have a big chat. Try to make a big deal out of episode 200, because who would have thought that, over 4 years ago, we'd be still doing this. And we didn't plan on episode 200. We didn't plan on episode 2. let alone 200. And here we are with episode 200. And let's see, Cleveland baseball fans stopping by. Thanks for coming by. Yes, Steve, I saw Steve taking some beautiful pictures up there, down there in South Carolina. The heat has a different meaning down here. Well, I hope it does. I hope it's a better meaning than up here. It's been hot up here. And it's been, down. It's finally cool today. I don't know. It's like 73 right now. And it's, 9:30 at night. And I got the fans going down here to try to cool it down. So finally it's been a better day. It wasn't as brutal as last summer. Last summer we had no rain. And it was so hot. Up here in the Northeast, all my grass died. It just burnt up. We've had a lot of rain, which has been good. But it's just been the heat and humidity again. As is with the summer up here. September is by far my favorite month. September, October are my two favorite months. So we're coming into this. September because the summer's kind of going away. Football starting up, preseason hockey, early October, actual hockey starts, and that's my favorite time is September, October. The fall's here. You ever seen those things that they talk about? It said, what smell reminds you of being a kid, or what smell reminds you of the past? Every time I smell leaves, like leaves that are on the ground that are starting to turn a little bit, and you know how you get that leaf smell? It always reminds me of street hockey as a kid. And it still does. That smell triggers that memory of playing street hockey as a kid. And so do you have any smells? I'll get asked to that. Do you have any smells that remind you of something of your past? And obviously, within reason, people, But I had that every time I smell that in the fall, if I'm out walking the dog or if I'm raking the leaves, and I have that, the crunchy leaf rotting decay smell of the leaves, that just reminds me of playing street hockey and having the leaves on the street when we played and try to, get them off the street so we could play. But it's just that fall feeling. It's really kind of neat. Pesky Pole coming by. Pesky Pole, holy cow, he did that video with 2nd and 10 that I had no idea you could go possession by possession. I want to say I think I knew that. I think I remember seeing that, but I never really, like Ron said, didn't put 2 and 2 together. It's like, we saw that option, but just didn't think of it, because we're thinking you want to play the game, but you're not thinking drive by drive. I think I remember using it once and like, whatever, but not. But like you said, with the game-winning drive and fast drive football, all the drive by drive games, to have it on the computer, that's pretty cool. And Steve Tower down south says fresh cut grass meant it was summer and no school. Yeah, I guess it would be. Yep. Every time we have a nice hot day, baking day, I think of myself out of the ball field catching fly balls. We had a oblong baseball field. We didn't have a left field or a right field. It was basically it was a hockey rink, let's call it, or a rectangle. So we didn't have left field or right field, but we got good at hitting the center field because if you hit the left or right, you'd lose the ball in the woods. And but we would go out and shag fly balls all day long. Somebody would hit, somebody would catch, and they could do. I'd still love to do that today. I just am too old, but yeah. That's fresh cut grass was that. But for me, again, if a nice hot day, if I hear the June bugs, those little June bugs you hear, it's like, oh yeah, I remember going out and playing ball on hot days every day over the summer. Literally, I walk across the street and it was a baseball field. Well, it was a park, let's call it. It wasn't a baseball field. How the heck we ever played ball on that? Because again, it just was a picture of a football field, and there was no left or right field. Pesky Paul says he discovered that by accident. You can't play it any other way now. That's interesting. Maybe what I would do with that is I would go possession for the other team because I hate playing defense, and then I'd go back on offense for my team. That might be a way to do it too, But it does speed up the game. Michael stops by. Hope you're doing well. And Cleveland baseball fans, that's how we play baseball in the backyard. More of a rectangular field, woods and garden, or foul territory. Yep. And they use a tennis ball instead of a baseball to stay safe. Well, geez, the only thing with a tennis ball, though, unless you use a wiffle ball bat, if you use a regular bat, we tried that. And it would just send the tennis ball flying, with a wooden bat, So, yeah, that was kind of nuts with that. But, we used to play wiffle ball, and we had a thing that we were in the backyard at my grandparents' house, and if you hit it over the house, it was an out. So the idea was not to hit it over the house because it would be an out. And if you hit the house, you could catch it off the house. So that was the idea behind that, too. So if you hit it off, luckily it was a wiffle ball, didn't break. We never broke a window. We've hit windows, and it made a lot of noise, but we never broke one. But if it hit the house, you could catch it off the house for an out. And if it hit the roof and rolled down, if you caught it, it's an out. I think if it hit the roof and then hit the ground, it was a triple. And if it hit the house and you didn't catch it, it was a double. And anything on the ground was a single. But if you fielded it cleanly, I think it was an out. I think that's how we played. I don't know if we ran the bases or not, if we just kind of played, if you hit it, that was your hit and see what happened. We did run the bases a couple times, but it was just such a small yard that we just kind of hit, I think. But it was fun. And Pesky Pole says, feels like I can complete more football projects, and I might play normal in the fourth quarter when it comes to my favorite team. See, that's what's great about, is having that option of playing ahead. So you don't need to go speed ahead a whole quarter, a whole half. You can go possession by possession, and that might speed it up a little bit. I should try that later on tonight just to kind of get into the flow, see what I like with that. But I love options in games. We've talked about options in games. If you can go play by play, or possession by possession, or quarter by quarter, and just stop it at any time. It's like, okay, game's getting good. Let's finish it up. That would go good with basketball, because basketball it's such a long game, possession by possession. That would work well for a basketball game. So any designers, possession by possession basketball game. Used to play hockey in small frozen ponds growing up in Delaware. Ponds don't freeze there anymore. Yeah, I would say that too. We haven't had many winters lately that we could skate on the ponds. I would say that. I have noticed that it seems like, at least up here where I am, that everything's moved forward a month. So in other words, our Decembers are more like November. Okay? So we would always get snow in December as a kid. Now we don't get really any snow till January. But we get a lot of snow in March. Whereas a kid, February ended, March come, the first couple weeks of March, was it in like a lion, out like a lamb. After the middle of March, we were pretty much done with snow. Now we'll get the snow and the cold deep into March. So our Januaries are our old Decembers, our Februaries are our old Januaries, and our Marches are our old Februaries, if you follow that. It just seems that way. It seems like our winters start later, but they also end later. That's just kind of how it feels up here. But it's been a few years we've had the biting cold, and I'll take that. I don't mind a little bit of winter, but that biting cold, that's when it's a killer. And when it's that cold to freeze the ponds, you don't go out in the ponds. It's too cold. I'll leave that for the other people. And Curtis says, wiffle ball rules we played were just as you described, fun. Yeah, and that was the whole great fun thing about that, was you just do it as you just have some fun. Around the layout, Ray, down there in the Lone Star State. Hope you're having a good time down there. Remind me, I had a funny dream, and you were in it. And so remind me to tell you about that dream. I don't want to talk about it on here, but remind me to tell you about that dream. It was just a strange, weird dream about my old car. I don't know. It was nuts. It was a nutty, nutty dream, but you were in it. Pesky Paul. Someone commented that he does that on PC Replay basketball. He likes looking at the stats after each drive. Okay. Yeah, that's another one. PC Replay basketball. That's another good one. And the baseball game is good, too. And Cleveland Baseball says, seems that way now as well. Christmas is when winter sports starts, and everyone wants snow at that time, and it usually doesn't happen. Yeah, we don't get a ton. I always like the white Christmas. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. So you like to have the white Christmas, at least around here we like to, because we were used to that. But we've had some Christmases that we were buried. In fact, I want to say we had I don't know if it was 0 degrees or 10 degrees. We had a really, really cold Christmas. I want to say it was 1980. And I remember because my dad had a van, and he picked us up to go to his house. And his van, it was just an empty work van. I don't even know if it had any heat. And we froze all the way to his house. And I got a bunch of records. All I wanted was records. And so they bought me all these records. I got, everything from the Kinks to the Cars to Kiss. I mean, I just got a ton of records. And I remember having them in the van, and they all had frost on them. When I brought them home from his house, all my records were so cold from it being between 0 and 10 that they all had frost on them. I remember that. And they still play. Luckily, they didn't get ruined in the cold. But I remember that we had a really cold December one year, and we were always skating on the ponds. We come home from school, we go out in the ponds and skate in December. But the winters never lasted that long. Come March, you were pretty clear. We'd have the occasional snowstorm, late March, early April. I remember a couple of. My birthday's mid-April, and once in a while we might have snow near my birthday, but it was rare, and it was gone the next day. It just was like slush. But it just seems like the winters now, everything's pushed off a month as far as winter goes. And it doesn't seem like our springs, usually April and May were great months, and now we got to wait until end of May, early June to get our spring. So it just seems like, things have just changed a little bit, 2004 Christmas, there was a huge snowstorm. How our church dug out a path to put people in, I don't know. Maybe they just parted the snow. Had the staff parted the snow. You never know. You never know. I don't mind doing the snow. It's just when it's heavy. Like I got the snow blower and I go out and I try to move it, and it's like it just doesn't. Sometimes you really need to push it through the snow if the snow's like that wet snow. You see on the commercials, they walk behind the snow blower and it just blows it all away like it's sawdust. That's not really the case. When you're snow blowing, it's heavy and you're driving. And I come in and I'm exhausted, and the wife's like, "Oh well, why didn't you do over there? Why don't you do over there?" So there you go. Take the snow blower and show me how easy it is. I says, I'm exhausted. You don't just walk behind it. It's not like cutting grass. I go, it hits the snow and it stops. And you got to drive through it sometimes. And you're slipping on ice and you're falling over the place. And then you're lugging this thing around. It is tiring, I wish you could just go right through it like the commercials. It'd be so much easier. It just doesn't work that way. No parting of the snow. Our mini snowblower somehow did the job. Sometimes they work. I had a little brush one that I used on the deck. You plugged it in, and it just swept it off the deck. That actually worked pretty well. It doesn't work for a driveway, not if you got 6 or 8 inches of snow out there. Although I'm one of the guys that when it snows, if it's like, hey, we're gonna get 12 inches of snow, 12 to 15 inches of snow. That's what they're predicting, and it's gonna be a day, 24 hours of snow. So it starts to snow. After we get 4 or 5 inches, I go out and I clear it. I do. I'm the guy that goes out there, clears everything, comes back in. 5-6 hours later, it's all back. I clear it again. And then at the end of it, I go out again. So I usually go out 2 or 3 times during a blizzard to keep up with it. And, some of my neighbors, they don't go out there till it's all done. They go out there once. But the thing with that is, it's like, even though, you clear it and it comes back, you're not dealing with 15 inches of snow. You only get 5 or 6. And then there's the wind and it kind of blows the gusts around or whatever. But, I mean, it is... If you go out there and chip away at it, it really is a heck of a lot easier than going out at the end and trying to do one big clear up. That's what I found. I says this past one we had 2 ice storms in a row. Oh, see, I don't like the ice storms. I can deal with a lot of things, but the ice storms, when they get on the power lines and you got no power and everything's just frozen, they can't really fix it. And you get no power in the winter. The ice storms are the worst. They really are. And ice is the absolute worst. And you had 2 big snowstorms. We have to buy a shovel to put in your car. Yeah. I found that as I get older, if we get a lot of snow, I just stay home. I cancel hockey. I ain't going out in this stuff. We had a couple of Friday mornings that was really bad, and the guy's like, "No, we're playing hockey today." I'm like, it's like, no way. It's like, I don't want to drive in this. I don't get paid for it, so I lose money. But I really don't want to do that. I really don't. Bears Den. If it's a dry snow, it's easy for the blower, but when it's a wet snow, that's a difficult. Yeah. There's been a couple times I go out there and just the snowboard is, and you go right through it. It's great. And there's other times that even a little bit, it's like moving cement, and it gets caught. If it's too heavy, it gets caught, and I got to take a hockey stick and jam it out of there so it keeps running. So yeah, that's the tough part of it, And I use a snowblower all the time. I mean, if it's a couple inches, I'll just brush it away with a shovel. But most of the time, the snowblower, especially when it's only a few inches, just blow it out. Just get it out of here. It's just so much easier. That's what I have it for. I don't need to prove anything by shoveling. I'm just going to use that right there. But here we are on August 20th talking about snow. maybe because we're looking forward to the colder weather. I don't know. Some people love summer. Are you one of those people that love summer? Because I have my aunt is just. I mean, it could be 1,000 degrees and it still wouldn't be hot enough for her. She just loves the summer. She gets out. They go out on the motorcycle and they go to the beach and they do their things. And I'm not a summer guy. July and August, I hide in the house because I don't like to go out in the heat. It's just too oppressive up here. But some people love the heat. Some people love the heat. Joseph says, living in Florida, no problems. Joseph, we really thought about moving south at some point, especially when she retired. And we get a couple of hot days up here, and it's, something, if that's how it's going to be down south most of the time, we couldn't deal with it. I'm thinking about even going further north just to get rid of some of the heat. So we thought about going south, and we was actively looking. We had begun the process, and then we just said, no, I don't think we really want to go south, And Bernard says, best part of leaving Boston for LA was no snow. Yeah, I will say this, that we had a winter here maybe 13, 14 years ago, and it was snow after snow after snow after snow. And I remember it was in February, and one of the roller hockey leagues I was working with had I don't know if they had a meeting or if they had games. They had something going on in Las Vegas, and they wanted me to go. And so they flew me out, and we got a snowstorm on one day. The next day I flew out. The day after we got another snowstorm. I flew out between storms. And when I got to Vegas and I get off the plane and we walked outside, I was like, oh my gosh, I can see the ground. Because we hadn't seen the ground in a long time because it was covered in snow and you're always cold. I remember that one winter I went out there, it's like, oh man, this is so nice not having to get my feet wet and cold walking in snow. And there I am in Vegas at 90 degrees walking around. It's like it was a nice break. And then I flew home after a storm, and then at the day after there was another. So I flew in and out between storms. So it was like snow, flight, snow, come home, snow. It just worked out that I didn't hit any delays. And I was like, I'll never fly out in January or February again out of Boston. It's not worth it because you don't know what's going to get. I got so lucky that I did that. But it was nice. I got to say that 3 or 4 days I was out there, it was like, oh, wow, what a nice break from the snow. It really was. So, yeah. Michael says, love summer, hate winter. Really? See, so you're a summer guy. Okay. And that's fine. Well, again, I don't like the heat of the summer and I don't like the cold of the winter, but when it's really hot out, it stinks. It really does. It's oppressive. But then again, when it's really cold, you don't do anything either. Although at least I can go, when it's cold, I can go for a walk, But when it's really hot, you can't go. Like, I haven't taken my dog out in weeks. It does not do good in the heat anymore. But the wintertime, he goes out. Yeah, I got the Sabres up. Yeah, the Bobby Bond and Rick Generat. Bobby Bond, who wanted to expose the corruption of the NHLPA and their pension, but started the ball rolling. Okay, that I did not know. I think they played for the Seals. And in fact, I think in my one of my replays on Franchise Hockey Manager 9, I think I grabbed him from the Seals, and I have him on the Bruins in one of my replays. And, so I know who Bobby Bond is. And, it sucks about the Sabres. Because I used to listen to him. I still do. When I go to bed at night, I have the phone and the XM radio, and you can get every NHL broadcast. I think even on the NHL app you can listen now for free to the audio, the radio call. And the Sabres was on my favorites list. I got a handful of teams, and sometimes I like the team, and sometimes I like the broadcaster. And for the Sabres, I did like the broadcaster, and that's too bad that he passed away. Patrick stops by. He's a Penguins fan. We just spent the week in Miami. 110 every day. Nope. Yeah. I bet you're done after that. Yeah, 110. My wife went on a cruise in June, 2 months ago, and I ain't going. I says, I don't want to go down into the heat and bake and just, I said I couldn't take, 10 days off from work anyway. So she went with her sister, and she had no reception, so she only had a couple hours a day to text me. That's all she could do. And she's just like, all we do is sit in the sun while we stand in line. And just they got baked. And she was completely red. And it just, she did not have a good time. She's like, it just was so hot down there. And all the islands are all hot. So I guess you don't want to go on a cruise in June. If you want to go, you want to go in December, I guess. But yeah, yeah, that was not fun for her. Let's see. If there was no baseball, I'd have no use for summer. Okay. I did hear that Arizona has very little humidity. Her uncle used to live out there, and he was bragging about how, you have nice weather here, and you drive a half hour north, and you have your winter. That's just how Arizona was. So he had a place up north and a place down south, and so he had the best of both worlds. But yes, I did hear that. And Texas was another place we were looking at. I had a friend of mine that moved out to Texas. Actually, two of my old hockey buddies moved out to Texas, and they're still there, so it can't be that bad. It was 110 the other day. They said they're tired of the heat, want to come back to Ohio. I could see that. I could see how you'd be tired of the heat, and but I guess if you could stick it out, you might get used to it. It's like anything else. Like people that come up here from the south, they're like, "Oh man, it's too cold. How do you deal with it?" It's like, we're used to it. Bernard said he left after the blizzard of '78. I remember that. I remember that very vividly. We just had no school. It was just snow everywhere, and back then they didn't have the ability that they do today to clear all the snow away. So they just couldn't quite get it all, and so cars were stuck on the highway. Took them a while to get it out. I remember we had a state of emergency. We had no school all week long. I remember a lot about that. I even got some pictures of that somewhere. I think my mother sent me some pictures that she took. Cleveland baseball fan agrees with Bear Den. And Patrick said, I live in Maine and have no use for the oppressive heat. We were, like I say, we thought about moving up to New Hampshire maybe. Because it'd be a little colder up there. And, it's, when we go to New Hampshire, there's an ice line. And I forget where that line is. I don't know if it's on 93 somewhere, but it just, when it'd be raining and you get up there and then it freezes on your windshield and you can't see nothing. So there's a line up there somewhere on our way to New Hampshire or in New Hampshire. And so we thought about going up there. It's like, if I don't got to travel and I'm going to drive it might not be as bad. But yeah, the heat definitely does stink. I will agree with that. Alan coming by here. I hate the summer. In the cold, you can always add layers. In the summer, you can't remove your skin. That's a good point. That's a very good point. When you're baking and just, oh man, and I'm not an AC guy. I've never seen. Oh, see, look at how dirty my shirt is. That's from the dog. I was playing with a dog today and it's got my black shirt all yucky here. I'm not an AC guy. And I got to say, the last couple of years, I've had the AC in the car. In fact, I never used the AC in the car to a point that when I went to use it, it didn't work because you have to use it every now and then. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. So I'm always bringing it into the shop saying, hey, my AC don't work. It's like, well, they're like, well, you have to use it once in a while. Otherwise, it won't work. And I've been finding that I usually have like the sky open and all the windows open in the car. I like the fresh air when I drive, But it's been so hot, as I get older, the heat doesn't agree with me. So now I have all the windows closed and the sunroof closed and the AC is cranking. And then I come in the house and I put the AC on. I never did. I always had the windows open. And I like fans. I like the air. Lately, though, the last couple of years, I've been an AC guy. Is this the old age creeping in? But like you said, you can always add a layer. No matter how cold it is outside, within reason. You put on a jacket. Usually when I walk the dog in the winter, I'll put on a little sweatshirt, and then I have like a puffy vest. So now this is all nice and warm. My arms are free, and he doesn't mind the cold. He's okay with that, and so I could walk the dog comfortably. In the summer, I would take him down the end of the street. It's like less than a quarter of a mile, and he turns around. He's like, "Okay, I'm going home now." And I had to carry him home one time. He just stopped. He wouldn't go any further. And I picked him up, and I had to carry him home. He just couldn't do it in the heat. Joseph says he'd rather sweat than shiver. That's a good point. Yep. I can hear that. Cleveland baseball St. Bernard is having blizzards 2 years in a row in 77 and 70. I'm sure many people moved, including the Cleveland Barons. It's a shot across the bow. Yeah. Yeah, it happens all the time. It was 6 or 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, we got 9 feet of snow in a week and a half. And in fact, one of the guys in our league is a weatherman, and he's really good. And he's like, "You're not going to believe this. We're getting 18 inches." And then 2 days later, another 18 inches. And then 3 days later, we're getting 24 inches. And then 3 days later, and everyone just hated this guy because every time he'd post something, he'd be like, 1.5 feet, 2 feet, 2.5. It was just it was the most insane amount of snow I've ever seen in my life. And there was no place to put that snow. And after that, there was so many people saying, "I'm out of here. That's just too much for me. It just, I don't want to deal with this anymore." So I can see how that, after enough snow, then yeah. Bond was the Seal, scored a game-winning goal of Game 6 of the 64 Cup Finals for the Leafs on a broken ankle. Oh, that was him. I remember that somebody had a broken ankle, and they scored a goal. Yep. Mo says he gets all 4 seasons and love them all. I get all 4 seasons, too. I do. I get the 4 seasons. I have all their albums. I'm kidding. We get the 4 seasons up here. Although our spring's been this big because the winter bleeds well into April, or the cold weather, I should say. It's like we used to have a good April in May. Now it's still crappy right through May usually. And it's like, man, when are we going to get a spring? So we haven't had a spring in a while. Then you wake up one day and it's like 90 degrees. It's like, oh, well, spring's over. Now we're in the summer. But the falls here are great. Really, the fall. You really appreciate the fall, how good it is here, because you've been dealing with crappy weather all year. And you get those couple of months in the fall. It's like, oh, man, you can sit outside. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's perfect. It really is. Pesky Pole. He's in South Carolina. If there's snow, they shut everything down. Well, that's how it is. I mean, we laugh up here at the South. We do. When someone says, hey, we got 2 inches of snow, we got to shut down, like my friends in Atlanta or down in Georgia, and we laugh about it, but that's a big deal down there. You got an inch of snow down there, and they don't have the means to clean that up, and people don't know how to drive and that stuff. So, yeah, it's a big deal. I was just watching a video on YouTube about the big freeze in Texas. There was 2 ice storms in Texas, and I forget where it was. I don't know if it was Dallas or something like that, but I was watching the archive on that, and I forget what year it was, but it says, the big weather freeze in Texas that they had years ago. I was watching that. It's like, yeah, those places get crippled. With just a little bit of snow, they get crippled. So we can laugh, but it's the truth. They're not built for that. 7 years out of school a week, and it was great. Yeah, I was too. Yep. When you're a kid, cold and snow is fun, not so much as an adult. Yeah, I think the extremes you dealt with better as a kid. We would go out on the hot days and it wouldn't matter. And the cold days we'd be out skating on the pond or playing hockey in the driveway or building a snow fort or something. Now when it's cold out, it's like, yeah, I'm going to stay in. Bernard says, if you play golf in New England, it's not the place to live. California can play year-round. Yeah. There is golf up here. Now, they'll play from April to December. As long as there's no frost on the course, they'll play. We've played in December before. We played some cold days in December, too. And I know down in Florida, my buddy lives down in Florida, and he likes golf every day, but I guess it's like morning and night golf. There's no afternoon golf. You can't golf at noontime in Florida when it's 100 degrees. You just can't. Pesky Pole says, I don't love the heat down here, but I like it much more than the cold and overcast skies in New York. Fall and winter are really nice down here. Yeah, I suppose it would be. Do I have another Spiders season in me? I don't know. I kind of did that, and we ended that on such a high note. I don't know if I'd want to go back to that. Would I include the Spiders in something? Oh, absolutely would, but I don't know if I'd do another 1899 season. I mean, maybe if there was a baseball game that had it that I really wanted to do it, I might do something with it, but that was just magic. That Strat season was just so good. I have some other seasons I'd like to do, and I got some other old teams that I want to play, and I got a couple of old APA seasons and old Strat seasons. It'd be fun to break out and play. So I don't know. I kind of did that one and enjoyed it. Like I say, every now and then I like to pull out the Spiders for something, but that's kind of done its thing, But anyway, I keep saying that I'm gonna get APA table back here, APA hockey back here on the table, and I just haven't been able to do it. It's just been a strange summer. It's just been more hot than then I like it. I don't want to say more hot than usual because summers have always been hot here, but I haven't done well in the heat. so myself, I kind of just sit and watch a lot of YouTube. All right, watch that new Pluto TV that they have the Godzilla channel on Pluto TV. So I'll sit and I'll watch Godzilla all day, and while I get some work done or whatever. But yeah, I haven't really been able to set up anything and play here. As Joseph sees any app of hockey come down the road, yeah, absolutely, yeah, that's. I'm dying to play app hockey. Every time I talk to Juckett, it's like, Juckett, I'm gonna pull out the app of hockey and play it. I just haven't really been in the mindset to do that. It just, like I say, I've been playing the Pro Strategy football on the computer, and that's been fun. I think just when it's kind of hot, you get a little lethargic, and you just don't have the energy that you have. And even when I play hockey now, I played hockey yesterday morning, and then I refereed a game, and I come home and I was done. It was just so hot where we played, and I took a nap and I woke up, but I never woke up, and it's just, man, I'm just junk. So after I play hockey, I'm junk the next day, and I think it's just the heat, because that hasn't happened in quite some time. And anything you do, it's just in the heat. It's hot. You go out and you cut the grass. You're hot. You come in, and you just don't feel like doing anything. When it starts to get cooler, you get a little bit more energy now. At least I do when it's cooler out. And then you're down here and you're not, sweating down here with fans on you and the whole bit. So the app of hockey will be back. I got to figure out a project with that. I always just play a game, but I should figure out a project and play that. Now that I have those Excel helpers, they help so well. VL stopping by, and it's going to be over 100 this week in South Carolina. Oh, I wonder if Steve Tower's going to enjoy that 100-degree weather down there. Steve, keep it there. Don't bring it back. Keep it right where it is. Yeah, when it gets 100 up here, it is nasty. It's so nasty up here. Joseph says PC games no match for the card and dice game. I agree. The PC games, they're fun. For me, they're kind of a lazy man's game. If I'm in a lazy mood, I'll play them. I like how they keep all the stats for me in the whole bit. The cards and dice are definitely more fun. But when I'm doing projects, I think I like the PC better because I can play the games I want. It keeps the stats. I feel like I'm contributing to something. Whereas the cards and dice, I don't do a lot of big products with cards and dice because it means a lot of manual entry and a manual stat keeping in the whole bit. And I just don't have the time for that. I'd rather play the game than to play the game and then take hours to do stats and compile stats. That's just me. I know some people do it and that's fine, but right now where I am in my gaming, I can play a playoff series or something like that, but as far as, I like playing the cards and dice better than the PC. But depending what I'm doing, the PC is a lot more handy. It just really is. Brian, how about some more drums? I just posted a drum video. It's kind of distorted. I went direct into the camera and had it too loud. But I just jammed out tonight. So if you look at the channel, I did post a public drum video that you can check out of me playing. It's okay. I'm just kind of using some of the things that I learned and the skills I learned. It's very difficult. And I'm finding that, I'm playing these lessons. But then I was like, hey, here's how to do this. It's like, doom, 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 doom. And then I go to play, and I already forgot it, And here's a couple of cool beats, and then I already forgot it. So I've been, I get so many drum fills and beats I've been playing and learning. I'm just trying to get my coordination down is what I'm doing. And then I might go back and try to pick my favorite fills. I mean, every day you sit down, it's like, hey, here's a new drum fill. Doom, 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 doom. And then the next day it's like, doom, 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 doom. And so I just keep forgetting them all. I do. But I did post a drum video today. Mike stopping by. Longtime listener, he says he's in California dealing with his hurricane. Oh, man, yeah. At least you don't have those fires in Hawaii. I got friends in Hawaii. Luckily, they're all right. They weren't in that area, but I didn't realize how bad it was until I saw the videos of Hawaii, and you're like, oh, my gosh, that is nuts. But, yeah, we had a tornado in Massachusetts here not that long ago, and we had one touchdown near my buddy Ray's house down there in Connecticut. He said it was like 8 miles from his house or something like that. That's a little too close to me for a tornado, But anytime you have that, hurricanes and floods and the whole bit and fires, it's just amazing. That stuff just destroys things. It just, poof. Let's see here. VL says he was up in Boston 3 weeks ago and never got above 80. Well, you were lucky then. You were lucky. We had a spell that it wasn't that bad, but it still was humid. Like, I'll come home from the hockey rink, and it's like this misty rain outside, and it's only like 75 degrees, but it's just, you walk outside, and it's like walking into a wall of water. That's how humid the air is up here. So we'll be sitting in the house with the AC on. We'll open the door to let the dog out. It's like, boom. It's a wall. And you come home and it's like, man, it is so nasty out. But so sometimes you almost rather have it a little bit more hot because you don't have that wall of humidity when it gets too hot. PC games keep stats great and are easier to stream. Yep, they are. Yep, I will agree with that. And that's kind of why I do a lot of PC streaming, because it is easier than setting up the second camera and showing the cards. And just, you can never read the cards, and I can never figure out if that's what I want to do. So, Brian, what you got over here? With Pro Football PC game, you can import historical stats and season. Oh, can you? So, say, can you pick up a team from 91 and so on? Pro Football PC game. Which game is that? There's a handful of games. You have Strat. You have Action PC, you have Second and 10, you have Pro Strategy Football. So there's a whole bunch of them there. Strat's the one you got to buy the season. Second and 10, Pro Strategy Football, and what was the other one I mentioned? Those two come with all the seasons. Oh, Action PC, you got to buy the seasons too. Action PC is the other one. So you still have to buy the seasons for them. But once you have the season, you can play anybody, basically, you know. Let's see. Going back to the chat room, Joseph says, will I be at the John bottom level? No. I'd have to play for like 15 to 20 years, and I probably won't be living that long to play that much. But if I can play, you know, and just play along with some songs and keep a beat and the whole bit. That's the thing that it is the sounds, are so good. And when you play something and you get it just right, and it's in time, it's just something so satisfying about that. It really is. It's just like boom, bam, boom. It's like, holy cow, that sounded amazing. And that's kind of where I am right now. I'm in this still the deer in the headlights when I get it right. And then I play it, and then I just, I was playing something tonight, and I was like, dunka, dunka, dunka. And I'm like, oh, look, I'm doing it. And then I screwed it up, and I just, I was in the groove for like 15 seconds, and then I lost the groove. So I'm just not there yet. It's 9:11 in local time in Texas, and it's 102 degrees. Oh, man. That's terrible. And let's see. Patrick just finished playing the 88, 89, and 90 Oakland A's. What game are you playing with that? Let me know what game you're playing. I like playing the A's. Super Bowl tournament comes by. I was this close to Pro Strategy Football tonight. I had it teed up and ready to go. It was teed up, and I was ready to play the game. And I was like, I think I'm just going to do a chat tonight. I don't know if I get the energy to broadcast a football game. So I was that close to that. Dave still hasn't streamed a Stanley Cup playthrough NHL 94 with the Whalers. I know. I actually could do that. I have the Retron 5, which plays the cartridge, and I have the cartridge, and I think it even upscales it. So I should probably fire that up, figure out how to get that going. So I have the, what do I have? I think I even have it over here. Do I still have it here on my desk? Do I have the, I do. I just got to hook it up. I have the Elgato HD60S. It's the older model. It's an older code, but it checks out. And I think that's how I would hook up my to play the Sega Genesis online. But I always wanted to do that. I did a video a long time ago about all the Sega hockey games, and I just kind of talked about them. I want to go back and play them all now, because I think there was 18 of them. And I want to go back and play 5 or 10 minutes of each one, and that's like a series I want to do, and it's just something I never got to. And every time I say I'm going to do it, I just never get to it. But yes, that needs to come on the channel here. VL says, I made an executive decision. I am messing with Strat Baseball again. Seems to be the most accurate. I think I'm going to buy one season every paycheck. 2 seasons a month. Seems like the best option. Yeah. Oh, what to do? What I would suggest is wait till they have a sale. Save your money. Wait till they have a sale. They have all these flash sales all the time. Then they have the sales on Black Friday and Christmas and the whole bit. Strat's been doing very well with sales. Wait until they have like a buy 3 get 1 or a 20% off or something like that. That's when you stack up on it. Unless there's something you really, really want to play, then you grab that season. Like I grabbed, $18.99 and paid full price. But if you can wait, if there's something that you're not dying to play, put that money off to the side, and then when they have their sale where you can get 10, 15, or 20% off, or buy 3, get 1 free, or whatever it is, that's when you grab a bunch of them. So there's a little pro tip there that Juckett told me about. So now I tend to wait, unless I really have the itch and the desire to play something. I'll pay full price for one season, but I don't stock up on seasons unless they're on sale. And then I have a whole bunch. So that's just kind of how I do it. Okay, Brian says the pro strategy football. I think you can. I think you can go in and play pretty much anything you want to do with that. I'm going back to the question that you asked me there. I'm trying to see. Okay, can you import historical stats in season? I'm not 100% sure. So that was his question about pro strategy football. Can you import historical stats in a season? Well, what I do is you start the game and it says, what do you want to do? And you say, I want to play 1978. And so you create that season. Is kind of what it did. And then you bring in the graphics are a whole different thing here as far as bringing in the mods. They're not too difficult. I'm hoping in the new one will be easier. But there's a whole community that's done a lot of mods that has all the helmets and the jerseys. They just look fantastic. The fields, everything is just, top notch. But as far as the teams go, I think if you can play pretty much any team against any team, if you wanted to do that, I think. Like I said, I was talking to Juckett about that today. That's one thing we were talking about. Because he's like, I want to do a football product, and I'm thinking about, this team from this year, and this team from this year, and this team from this year. And I says, I like to play within the season, and I know a lot of other people like to play, the 27 this against the 55 that, and have them play, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I just, with me, being a practical guy. If I play within the season, it's going to be fair, Whereas if you play Tom Brady against, somebody from the past, it's not a fair fight, I don't think. Just because, sports has progressed to a point where these athletes just top of their game, making millions of dollars. But back in the day, they're working part-time and smoking cigarettes. And, the kickers couldn't kick more than 30 yards, especially 1978. So for me, I like to play within the season. I just think it's more of a fair fight. Occasionally, I'll pull out a team that, hey, how would they do it against these guys? But for me, I play within the season. So I have not tried playing different eras or whatever. Let's see. Pro strategy football is rating based, except for special teams. They use actual stats. Okay, I don't know if that helps at all. Let's see. I missed a couple of chats here. And, Patrick was playing Strat PC, and he won the World Series in 89 and 90. Oh, yeah, those are some good A's teams. I actually picked up 88 for APA baseball on the Cards and Dice, and I was going to play Oakland. I was. He likes the rock ballads from the 70s and the 80s. There's a couple of drum tracks I found, drum channels I found that don't have drums. It's like all the other music but drums. And they got a couple of ballads in there, and I was fiddling around with those. They're kind of fun to put your own drums to. That was fun. The video I did tonight was just some rock song that's out there on YouTube, and there's no drums, and you just put your own drums to it. And I was just having fun with it and making mistakes all over the place, but it was a good time. But they do have a ballad one I should try. Cleveland Baseball saying he has 4 seasons he hasn't touched yet, and you feel like unless something blows me away, he's not going to buy it. I don't know. See, I tend to, I know I have a collection of games, and if I can, put in some extra work and I make some extra money, then I take some of that money and I buy a season or I buy a game. That's just kind of how I do it. Fana says he wants to play NHL 92 on Genesis real bad. That was the first one. I did a video here on the channel a long time ago, too. My 5 favorite video games. And NHL 92, I want to say, was number 2. I think that was number 2 for my favorite games. And it was, there's just something about that game that just, that was a breakthrough hockey game. I think that game was a breakthrough hockey game. The first, I know NHL 94 gets all the credit, and it was the best of both worlds, NHL 94, but that NHL 92, I played more 92 than I did 94. When 92 come out, I remember exactly where I was when I found out about it, and I raced home, and I bought it the next day, and put it on the credit card, probably still paying it off, and I just would race home and play that. That's all I did is play that hockey game over, and that's the only game I had. Aside from Sonic that came with it. And I just didn't need another game. That was great. Brian said he plays a bunch of Blades of Steel and Tecmo Bowl from Nintendo in the 80s. Blades of Steel was all right. It was kind of a pain in the neck. Make the pass. It just was hard to control the goalies in the whole bit, and the teams weren't the right colors. But there was nothing like playing against a friend. When you had Blades of Steel and you just set it up and played with a friend, it really was. It was just a fun hangout game because it was so goofy. And half of it was luck, half of it was skill. So you didn't feel bad about losing because the other guy had a hard time controlling things too. And there's so many Blades of Steel knockoffs now. Like if you go on to Steam, there's a bunch of hockey games that have the Blades of Steel knockoff. Where are we here in the chat room here? Cleveland Baseball saying he has NHL 95 on Sega. Getting all the cheats down with the scoring, he's never been able to do that. NHL 95 was okay. I think, 94 was probably the best. 92 and 93 were good. 95 was probably the last good one. Once you start to getting up to NHL 97 or 98, it wasn't that good. I just didn't like it. I really didn't. See, Fenner stopping by. Dave, Stone Cold is about to have a WHA hockey season. Excited for more season. Oh, yes, the more hockey, the better. I really do like that game. And I like the cards and dice version, too. And I'll play that off to the side. I don't usually play that online, streaming. But I have some seasons there. In fact, they're right here. In fact, I have the newest season, 20, it's right here, 22, 23. I have that one. And so I'll be playing some of that. I remember when I first played that game, I was like, oh my gosh, the first period was terrible. And then by the time we finished the game, I was like, oh yeah, this game is really good. Justin says it's hard to imagine how some games can standardize teams across eras. That's the thing. Is I know it's all fictional anyway, but yeah, if you want to play, the 27 Boston Bruins against the 1977 Montreal Canadiens, how do you? It is hard to standardize that. Because it's just two different styles of play. It's two different eras. Things are just so different. I think football is the worst one. Baseball is probably the easiest. Baseball is baseball. Football, now you get kickers kicking, 64 yards? And, I'm playing 1978, and they're having a hard time, making them from 25, 30 yards out. So the kickers are just different. There's more passing. The balls are different shapes. So to try to play an old football team versus a new football team, that's where I don't know. Again, maybe I overthink it, but I'm just thinking, how are you going to do that? If a team can kick a 60-yard field goal and the other team can only make 30 yards, how is that a fair fight? And how do you normalize that? Because if you tell the team, well, you can't kick 60-yard field goals, well, it's not realistic. And if you tell the other team, oh, you can kick 60-yard field goals, even though your kicker, his longest was 30, well, that's not realistic either. So, and one era did a lot of running, one era did a lot of passing. So, there's my issue playing different eras. Super Bowl, you can mix and match pro strategy football teams to create whatever league you want. Yeah, it is pretty flexible. I will say that. In baseball, all he plays is mixed era leagues. So but there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. I think baseball would be the way to go because I think baseball has changed the least out of the 4 major sports. Especially football and hockey are very different. Hockey's so much more fast. And the worst guy in the league is is good. Back in the day, guys were terrible. Just comparing them. NHL 92 walks so that 94 could run. Yes, that's a good way of putting it. And was it NHLPA? Well, I'm looking over here. It was NHL hockey. Then it was NHL 93 was NHLPA. And then in 94, they put them all together. So in 92, you had the teams. In 93, you had the players, but not the teams. And in 94, you had the teams, the logos, and the players, and everybody all shook hands and had a good time. Because the NHL didn't endorse 93, but the players did. So that's just kind of how that worked out. But I still think that 92, I just enjoyed the most. Thomas stopping by. Thomas's promises. Thanks for coming by. Noble says, oh, man, he had a tornado 3 miles away. That sound you'll never forget. Oh, my gosh. That's too close, dude. That's way too close. That's way too close. I remember seeing some of the videos on YouTube, and there was this older couple, and the tornado was coming. The guy had, I don't know if he had a phone or a camera or something, and he was filming it, and it just come right at him, and they both died. They both died in the tornado when they were filming it. It just tore through it. It just, oof. Ugh. VL says football and hockey are different. Baseball could replay old teams. Yeah, I would agree with that. Right now, he's trying to turn daytime ballparks into night. It's really hard. Are you trying to do that like on the computer or something like that? Let me see. Are you doing another second season live stream soon? I'm excited to watch. Second season of football game. It's been a while since I played that game. And the thing with that game and also solitaire pro football, which are very similar because they're drive-by-drive games. Even fast action football is drive-by-drive, and I like that one too. It just takes such a long time to play, and they're fun, but boy, it's a cards and dice game that it's play by play, and it just takes such a long time. It's something that maybe I would do some of it, but I don't think I could do a whole game. It is just that anything like that takes so long, and we talk about this all the time. We talk about football games and trying to play cards and dice football, especially a play-by-play type of game. Well, even the computer games take you 45 minutes to an hour to play if you go play-by-play. It's just such a long, because you got, 30 plays a quarter? So if you're doing 120 plays, even if it takes you 30 seconds to do the play, that's still 60 minutes, and that's going at a pretty good clip, Where are we here? Super Bowl tournament says baseball has the best possibilities of mixing teams from different years and getting believable results. Yes, I will agree with that. Malbert stops by. Oh, did you watch the drum video? Yeah, I got to get a better audio quality. I come out of the drum module, the brain, and I just split it between the headphones and the camera. And when I did my test, I had the green level down to a point where I thought it was going to be okay. When I went back and played it, the bass was very distorted. I'm like, oh man, how did that happen? Sounded good in my headphones, but not on the camera. So I guess I'm going to have to turn it down even more to get a better sound. But Super Bowl tournaments. NFL Pro League football programmer told me that you get the best results playing football games if you play the same season. Yeah, that's what I would think so too. When you mix years, it can become unfair because of different styles and rules. Yep. That's my thing about the football. And the hockey's probably the second worst to play. And then basketball. Well, basketball's all 3-point because what do you do if you got a team that plays 3 points against a team that didn't play in the 3-point era, or just started to and they didn't take many. I remember when 3-point line came in, they just weren't taking them. Now it's like everything's a 3-point shot. Yeah, I don't know about that. It's just weird. John stops by. Hopefully the Dallas Stars will do better than they did last year. Am I replaying any seasons now? He just joined the chat. The only thing I'm doing right now, it's because it's just been hot up here, and I haven't really had the desire to play too many things. I went through my gaming paralysis, which I go through every year, a little early this year. And so I didn't play much, but I did start playing some Pro Strategy Football on the PC. So that's what I've been playing. Everything else has been on hold. My 79 baseball season that I'm using many different games, and I'm using Digital Diamond. That's been on hold for a bit. I haven't played that in a few months. All my hockey stuff's kind of been on hold. I just haven't been able to pull anything out. I just find myself that I just do work, and then I find myself just kind of sitting in front of the TV watching YouTube and Godzilla. And that's kind of been my summer. It's just been, I'll come down here and I'll look at like, man, it's just hot down here and the fans are going, I need to put AC down here. I was talking to somebody about trying to get AC down here. If this place could get nice and cold, then I'd be more of in a gaming mood. But this time every year, August, September, I go through my 2 or 3 weeks of not playing anything. So that's kind of where I am. The only thing I'm playing right now is that Pro Strategy Football, and it's been a blast. I got to say, that game I went back to, and I'm enjoying it immensely. I really am. Alan comes in and says, with second season, it's good to play 3 quarters with the Express version and switch to the full game for the 4th quarter. Yeah, I tried that. The only problem with that, Alan, is I bought second season, a couple years ago. I bought it and the Express. I bought it for the Express because I was like, okay, I want a football game I can play kind of quick, and that kind of, it's not really drive by drive. It's somewhere in the middle, and I says that'll be fun. So I played the Express. It was fine. And then I played the full version. And honestly, I'd rather play the full version than the Express. Nothing wrong with the Express, but that is such a good game that you do want to play the full version. You just do, because it's so good. And the Express version it's fine. But it just feels like, man, I just might as well play the full version because it's that good. But I see what you're saying about that. And if you play the full version, then you can get your full stats in too. That's the other thing. You get your full stats instead of just a score. But if you're looking for just a score, yeah, the Express does a nice job. Albert says the audio could be improved. Yeah, I'm gonna mess with the audio a little bit more. I think there's it's coming out of the headphone jack for the drum thing I did, so I think I need to turn that down so that signal's not so hot, and then I think it would be better. But it come out okay. I thought the drumming itself was okay enough to show it off, because I joined a drum learning thing on the internet there, because I was on YouTube and I was doing it all on YouTube for free, and then I found a couple of people that I signed up with. It's like $20 a month or something like that. And there's one place, you have your own page, and you can write your notes down, and did you practice today? You enter your diary. I mean, there's all these things to do to kind of encourage you to play. You interact with other people, and every lesson that has a video on it, you can post your thoughts on the lesson, and you can post videos, and they encourage you to, so you can see your progress. So that's what I was doing today. I was filming a couple of short videos with me practicing the lesson, and then I uploaded it to say, hey, I played this, here's how I did, so they can kind of critique you and say, hey, here's what you did good, here's what you didn't do good. And I just happened to leave it on and record that song. So that's what I was doing today. I was playing the drums there. But yes, I will improve that audio, absolutely. Bears Den says he's looking forward to his Strats Cards and Dice Football 1985 season. Yes, I saw a lot of people all excited about that 85 coming out. I was happy with 85 right up until the Super Bowl. Fenner says his 80 Chargers field goal kicker can't make anything. Is that Benirshka? Is that Rolf Benirshka? Who's the kicker back in 1980 for the Chargers? Don't feel bad. I'm playing Pro Strategy Football right now, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 4-7, something like that. 4-7, 4-8, 5-7, 5, something like that. They lost 2 games by 1 point because they missed extra points. And it was Neil O'Donoghue, I think, was their kicker. And, yeah, so they've lost 2 games. One to the Giants and one to the Bears, maybe, I forget. But they lost 2 games. One of them I played. One of them I streamed. And they missed the extra point, and then they missed a field goal. And they lost by 1. And this other game I watched, they missed the extra point, too, and they lost by 1. So, sorry if I don't feel bad for your kickers. I just don't. Second season full version is easier to play than the Express. I agree. I agree. And VL's heading out. Thanks for coming by. I'm going to be wrapping up here myself soon. I just want to come on and say hi tonight. But yeah, I will agree, Bernard, that I do find it a little bit easier to play. The Express, it's fine, and just like moving up zones and keeping track of the time and the whole bit. I did find it more confusing than the regular version, and I found the regular version just to be a heck of a lot more fun because it's more football, and it's just if you're playing the Express, you kind of play in second season anyway. It's just instead of play-by-play, you're either moving up a zone or not moving up a zone. I guess is just what it is. But I would agree, second season full version is definitely much better. But anyway, before we wrap up, anything else you guys want to chat about here before we wrap up? I didn't expect to be on for an hour here tonight, but I was going to play some football as mentioned. And I said, I figured I'd come on and say hi, tell you what's going on. We should have a new Digital to Dice out this week. Again, Ron just had a tough go with just a whole bunch of crap going on up there. Everything's okay for the most part, but he's had a tough go, and he's just not really in a frame of mind to record. And then on the one time he was ready to record, I was tired because it was just hot up here, and like I told you, it just kind of happens. But so we'll get a new show out this week. And I got to start planning episode 200, which I think we're going to try to hold off until September when it's nice and cool and things like that. So, we're coming into the season. Football's already started. I saw that teams were playing some preseason games. That's always fun to see that happen. Anytime you see the kickoffs happen, it's always a good feeling. It really is. And that means hockey season's right around the corner as well. I don't know how the Bruins are going to do. It seems like everybody retired that was any good on the team. Yeah, it is what it is. We'll still have fun. I did take advantage of that big strat sale where you get the game, the card image, obviously the 22-23 season, and the cards, and all the extra cards, too. I took advantage of that sale. I haven't got anything in yet. I think I even bought a baseball season, too. I don't know what season. I haven't got that in the mail yet, so I wonder if they're all going to come together. But I think I bought a baseball season. And so, and what year was that? Did I get? Oh, I think I get 86. I think I bought 86 Strat. I really, really like Strat Basic Baseball. Probably, if I had to pick one game to play, I think it would be Strat Basic. However, they don't always card everybody, so that's where APBA comes in, where APBA Basic is great because I think they card just about everybody. And then Pocket Pennant's right there, too, if you want to get everybody carded. Because I think that on the spreadsheet, everybody's carded. But the Strat Base, I don't know, it just works. I just like how it works. I don't do the advanced or the super advanced, so the basic is fine for me. I like the basic games. Season ticket baseball is probably the most complex game that I enjoy playing. That just works for me. I don't know why, it just works. And I haven't played that, and it's sitting right here. I haven't played that in so long, but I do like it. And I got a bunch of seasons for that, too. I need to get some more seasons printed out for that, because that's just such a fun one. It really is. Season ticket baseball is a blast. It really is. But anyway, here. All right, so O'Fenner says, APBA or Strat Basic, which is better? I really like them both. I think I like the Strat Basic just a bit better. I don't know. I couldn't tell you why. I just kind of like it. I mean, they're both very good. I enjoy them both. I do. I don't know why I like this. It's like it's a smidge better. And I probably play more APBA than I do Strat Baseball. But when I pull out the Strat Baseball, it's so fun. They just don't always have everybody. And if I'm playing an as played, sometimes I like to have everybody that's in that game to start the game, and that's where APBA really shines with that. Now, Strat PC, you have everybody, but you can't play basic. You got to play the advanced or super advanced or something like that. But the Strat Basic is just, like I say, I'm a casual baseball guy, and that works great for me. And the APBA Basic works too. It really does. It does a super, super job. I think with the Strat, you make some more decisions, like you can steal a little bit more. It's kind of easy to steal in basic sometimes. Whereas the APBA just tells you like when the stolen base is going to happen, which is not a bad thing because it still works out. Both have been super fun. I've had some great games with both. I think I got my no-hitter with APBA. That's the Clemens no-hitter I got with APBA. 1988 against the A's of all teams. Canseco Maguire. No hitter. And I did it live. Yeah. David, thanks for coming by. Yep, we just had a little chat tonight. We'll sign off here in a second here, but I just want to kind of say hi to everybody. Does anybody have a good way to handle defense and strat football and playing solitaire? I don't, but I'm assuming cards and dice because on the computer will play the defense. I think there were some people that had like charts and things that you could roll the dice to see what the defense was going to do on certain downs. I think Apple Football had one too, where it's just kind of a chart and you roll the dice and it tells you what the defense is going to be. That's the one thing about the strat football that I have a hard time with. It's just, guessing the defensive play and, are you double teaming somebody? What's going on? I had a hard time with that. The cards and dice I could never play. I have it and I couldn't play it. And even on the football on the computer, I was having a hard time with it. I really did. I had a hard time with it. So I couldn't really help you with that. I prefer the Pro Strategy Football, which I'm playing now on the computer, because I can play both offenses. Even Action PC, you can play both offenses, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, unfortunately, I can't help you with that. Frank comes by. Oh, nice jobs on the drums. Getting better every try. Thank you so much, Frank. Yeah, every now and then I like to throw up a drum video so you can see my progress, and I can, let the wife know that I am practicing and that I'm not wasting my money on the drums. But it's satisfying when you can do some things right. And I'm trying. I almost quit the other day. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was, and probably it's like I haven't been playing any games. It's been kind of hot. I've been in a lousy mood, and I tried to play the other day, and I couldn't even do the simple things. And I said, "That's it. I'm getting rid of this thing. Why am I playing drums? This is stupid. I can't play." And I just, yeah, I was done. And then I went back and I sat down, and like everything just worked. It's just like, what's going on? One day I can't keep a beat. The next day I'm keeping beats and I'm doing stuff and it's work. It's like, I don't know. I guess that's just kind of the growing pains of learning something new. So, but yeah, that video was okay. I got to get the sound better, but I did find some tracks that I can play along with no drums, and it's great. I think I even found, I'm working on a couple songs. One of them is AC/DC. There's a couple AC/DC songs, and I think I found drumless versions on the internet, so I could play along. There'd be no drums; it just would be me, and that's a good way, because when you're playing along with a drum track, it's hard to tell who's what. But when there's no drums there whatsoever, it's just you. Yeah, you got to keep the time. You got to do everything. So, yeah, there's that. Justin says second season has a super simple solitaire chart. Yeah, yep. And for second season, do you roll dice for play calls or pick your own? I think you can do both. I think you can do both. I think you can roll the dice and see what it's going to do, or I think you can call your own plays if you want. Again, it's cards and dice, so it's basically your rules, your thing. The only problem with rolling dice, if it's like 3rd and 12, are you going to go run? Probably not. So sometimes I would just override what the dice said just so I could do what I felt was more real. So when I play cards and dice, I tend to do that. If something really weird comes up, and we did a whole show on that, I think, when it doesn't make sense. And that was kind of based on one of ID Jester's game. ID Jester was playing a football game, and he had some really crazy things at the end of the game, and it just wasn't making sense. Like, that would just not happen in a football game. And so when it doesn't make sense, what do? So you override that. That's what I do. But yeah, that's kind of how I handle that. Have you played Replay Baseball Card and Dice? That is my game of choice. I have it, Frank. I have the PC game, obviously. Ron, for my birthday, got me Cards and Dice, and I didn't mind it. I think what I'm going to do, I got the PDF version. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy the actual version next time they have a sale, and so I have like their official, charts and things like that, because I just printed them out, and I mean, they're fine, but I mean, I think they're a little bit bigger, a little bit better, so I'm going to get the printed version at some point with the season of their cards. And I did enjoy that. I did get that to work a little bit. It wasn't quite as simple as I thought, but it was kind of like a little bit like I think Ron calls it APA Advanced, or what APA Advanced should have been. And so I did enjoy that. I did enjoy that a little bit. I don't think it would replace Strat or APA right now, but I did play that and did enjoy it. So at some point I will get a season of that and play that and do it out. I ran into a snag with Replay Baseball is when I was playing here on the table and I had the computer version up so I could make sure I was doing it right, I was getting different results. So I'd roll the dice, figure out what it was, put it in the computer, and I'd get a different result. And that soured me. It's because I thought I was right and I was wrong. Come to find out, someone mentioned that there's a checkbox in there that you can play the cards and dice version. Because sometimes these computer games, they do things on their own that are different than cards and dice. So it's not a pure cards and dice simulator. It does, even Strat PC, it does a few things that you don't get to roll for everything. So it's not a complete, duplication of cards and dice. But I did hear that if I check that box, then it'd be different. So I need to go back and do that. Is check the box, have the computer on the screen, play the cards and dice, put in the dice roll, and see if I got what they got. And if I can do that, then I'd be more happy. Let's see, where else were we in the chat here? Let's see, Bob Tabletop Sports, thanks for coming by. Have you looked at Grant Fine's 49 Football? No, I haven't played it yet. I did see a video the other day that he changed the name of it or something. I think it was 49 Football, but now it's something else. And he's I don't know if he improved on it or made a second version of it. But I did see something about that the other day on YouTube, and I actually was watching some of it. And maybe it was on the APA channel. Was he talking to somebody on the APA channel on YouTube about his game and a few things? Maybe that was it. But I did hear something about that. And Justin says another vote for Replay Baseball's game of choice. I did like it. From what I played, I did like. Frank says he got the 82 season last week. And Alan says he loves the Replay cards and dice. He played the 1976 NL season. All 972 games. Holy cow. 972 games he played. That's impressive. I do want to get that and get some of their cards. Because I do like the PC game. I do have it. I'm trying to look at my folders over here off to the side. I did print out a couple of teams and try to play the cards and dice version, and it was fine. But I think I'm going to buy a season and buy the game next time they have a decent sale and give that a go with their software and see how it goes. Because I did enjoy that. I really did. Okay, that's what it was. Okay, Bob. Yeah, so he demoed the game at Play. I did see an interview that he was at Play.com, and he did show the game off. He has an easier version, which I think you were hearing about, and then the regular version. He also has a smashing good hockey game almost done too. I'm all ears when it comes to hockey games. I'm all ears on that. Absolutely. So yes, if you hear anything, Bob, please let me know. Either comment here on YouTube or send me an email, digitaltodice@yahoo.com. And keep me in the loop on this, because sometimes I don't always hear everything. I try to follow along the community best I can, but I don't always hear everything. So let me know on that, because I would like to hear on that. Have I played Inside Pitch? I have. I have the computer version, and do I have a PDF version? I might have it PDF too. I find it to be way too complex for me. For what I want out of baseball, it's too complex. I know some people, RJL makes that game look so easy, but for me, it wasn't the baseball game for me. Perhaps if it was a hockey game, I might give it more leeway because I'm a hockey guy. But being not a huge baseball fan, that was way too much for me. So I did try it. I have the computer version. I could never figure it out. I just got frustrated with it, and I went back to the games that I enjoyed that didn't frustrate me. It was a fine game. It just was more complex than I wanted out of a baseball game. What's the longest project with the most number of games you would want to complete? Well, obviously, if time was no object, I'd love to play full seasons of everything. Hockey, baseball, football. I mean, just if time was no object, but realistically, we have only so much time to play. So I try to, I've tried some long products before by playing every game, and it didn't quite work out because at some point I wanted to play something else that I don't want to say I got bored with this product, but I like to play different stuff. I mean, I'm just like shiny keys, squirrel. That's just me. I just don't. I can't sit still long enough to play a super super long project. I did a couple of quick play game long projects that worked out pretty well. I've done some playoff series that worked out pretty well, but as far as like doing a regular season every game, probably won't see that in my lifetime. I just don't think it would be. Let me see here. Oh, Frank said he got the 82 season in replay. Okay. Bob says he demoed the hockey game and found it hard to play. My thoughts are that if you love hockey and know a lot about strategy, you will love the game. I don't know enough about hockey. And that I think that's a big deal. If you like a certain sport, then you'll get into the weeds with that game. And there's some games that just I don't like the sport enough to get into the weeds like that. Hockey's one of the few that I would get into the weeds. Like even football. As much as I like football, there's some football games that get way too complex for me, and it's just like, no thanks. It's just not worth it. The hockey, the one game I still want to play at some point in my life is that the FTP hockey game, and I forget what the heck it's called. And it comes with a crazy spreadsheet that just I go into an epileptic seizure when I see the spreadsheet because it's just colors everywhere. It needs to be redone, and even the cards, there's just colors everywhere. It's just a big mosaic. But someone said they redesigned the cards themselves to make the game playable. And it's like, geez, I wish they would do that because I just can't do it. There's just so many colors and everything everywhere. It hurts my head looking at it. But the game itself, Peter Miller's played it. He said it's great. You go into the corner. You battle for the puck in the corner. You try to throw the puck in front. You battle out in front of the net. And then you try to skate it out of the zone. You fight to get out of the zone. So if you want, it's a long game to play, but it's one of those, if you like hockey, it's going to feel like hockey. It's not played 30 or 40 seconds at a whack. It's kind of almost a, skate by skate type of thing. But one day I want to try that. And that's the only game I would do something like that, where it's, where it's my favorite sport, and I would try that. So I see where you're coming with that. Alrighty, so all right, but we're gonna wrap this up here. I went a little bit longer than I thought, but it's good to get in a chat with everybody tonight. We talked about a lot of things, and that's what we do these things for us. Come in and chat and say hi to everybody, see what everybody's playing, see what everybody's weather is. And it's it's gone down 2 degrees since we started talking. It's now 71 degrees. So I'm not sure if I'll have to put the AC on tonight or if a fan will work. Sometimes the fan works, but sometimes it's really the AC just does the job better. It just cools everything down, and then you're like, I got my co-pilot over here. I got the dog over here underneath the table, snoozing away. He'll come up and jump on the bed. Then you need the AC because the dog jumps up on the bed next to you, and he's like a toaster. You just start burning up. Yeah, thanks to everybody for coming by here tonight. All right, we're going to jump out here. Folks, thanks for tuning in tonight. Just want to come on and say hi. Might do the football game tomorrow before I go into work. Tomorrow night after supper, between supper and 8 p.m. my time. If I can sneak one in, I'll get another game in there from the 78 season. I simmed everything but the one, so I do have to play that one game before I can move on to the next week. And maybe I'll try to slip that in tomorrow night. But anyway. All right, hey, I'm Dave. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hope to have a digital dice out to you early this week. Me and Jucker just got to find a good time to record, and we'll get a new one out to you this week, and we'll talk to everybody later. Have a good night. Bye-bye.